You are now tuned into the Cut Game radio show hosted by Groom City.
With the Cut Game radio show, we let them know we stay true
To the Cut Game.
Yeah, that's how we do. It's the Cut Game radio show, we let them know we stay true
To the Cut Game.
Yeah, that's how we do. It's the Cut Game radio show, we let them know we stay true
To the Cut Game.
Yeah, that's how we do.
The Cut Game radio show hosted by Groom City.
That's how we do.
Hey, what's going on? It's Groom City, and you now tuned in to the Cut Game radio show, #1 podcast for your hair needs. And right now, we chilling in the Cut Game studio. We will be giving you guys some interviews while we out in the field, but right now, we establishing the platform of the Cut Game radio show, so we gonna be up in the Cut Game studios, chilling with my boy Tone. What's up with it, Tone?
What's going on, Groom City? How we living?
Man, it's a blessing. How you been?
You know, I'm good, man. I'm excited about today.
Man, we got an awesome guest.
We do.
I'm gonna jump straight into it.
Let's go.
You know, a lot of times when you're doing your off the grid barbering, you're on the grid barbering. Some people say you're only good as the tools you use. Others might say you're only good as the products you use. Well, today we have founder and owner of the brand Code Label, owner of Cold Cuts Barbershop, located in Riverside, California. He been in this cut game for 29 years. Today we have none other than John Jefferson, owner of the brand Code Label, in the building today.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, man.
What's up, man? Thank you. What's been up, man?
Man, maintaining, trying to keep the boat steady, you know.
Hey, I've been following you, so you've been doing that, you know. So you say you've been in the game for 29 years. What got you into the cut game?
Cutting my own hair, you know, cutting my brother's hair, cutting friends for free, not having the money for a haircut and wanting to stay fresh, you know. My mom used to send me to the barber with a bunch of nickels,
Dang.
you know, in a bag, because I wanted it, and she was just like, well, you just have to, you know.
Yeah.
Or then she was writing checks. And, you know, they wouldn't bounce or nothing, but, you
Yeah.
know, the barber, you know, the barber's
be like,
clowning and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, Mom, just give me a pair of clippers. You know what I mean?
So what kind of clippers did she get you?
Consumer grade Osters, the kind that you cut dogs with.
The burgundy ones?
No, they was black. They was black and silver, but they was like clearly.
Oh, they had
cut-
no leather, huh?
No leather whatsoever.
I know the ones you
So
talking
you had to
about.
take a comb and kind of try to make it happen. You know?
Yeah.
The-
I know the ones you talking about. Had a little blank little switch, just a red switch on the side, or was it black?
No, it was black, but you slide it up, it up. That's it. It didn't adjust whatsoever.
Yeah.
You can put a clip on there, but you better just try to, if you're going to do a fade, like how we rock fades, or do any kind of blending, you got to take that comb and kind of
That's that taper
teach
comb.
yourself.
You had to really get it in with that taper comb,
It's
huh?
that hard knocks. You know, you learn from the school
Absolutely.
of hard knocks.
Yeah, I remember getting a cut with those clippers as a kid. He used to put a little canola oil on them and just go to, I'm not lying to you. I saw the canola oil next to his station. This was in the basement in Michigan. And I remember as a kid, though, I remember those clippers, but I remember he had a burgundy pair. His name was Smoke. He was the color of smoke, and he smoked. You know what I'm saying? And I remember his set of clippers because he was cool. You know when you got a relationship with your barber, you know, I was probably like 5 years old. So, you know, I remember them clippers. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so
right.
so you had those back in 29 years ago.
Yeah, my first pair. And matter of fact, I ended up mastering how to cut with clippers that were so garbage that when I finally got a real pair of clippers, I didn't know what to do.
Now, what was that real pair?
That was T outliners, those slim Andis. Nobody uses them anymore, but they're kind of slim. You know, might be about 1 inch wide. And that was my first professional grade clipper. But it had been so long I was cutting with nothing that, you know, I just automatically started icing folks down.
Wow.
You know.
Now, what area is this taking place?
This is in Nashville, Tennessee.
So you originally from Nashville?
No. I'm from Southern California.
Okay.
But I'm a PK.
Okay.
So we used to,
PK in the building.
yeah, yeah. And so we used to travel around, you know, depending on what church, every 3, 4, 8, 6, 5 years, whatever. And at the time we was down in Nashville, Tennessee, and yeah, that was my first. That was my first cuts. That was when I first picked up a pair of clippers. I wasn't getting paid for it until I moved back out here.
Okay. Now, what age did you move back out to Cali?
1988, 14.
14 years old.
Yeah. No.
So you hit what area of California?
Pasadena.
Pasadena.
Yeah. Dina.
Okay.
Dina.
Did you graduate from HS?
Nah, Blair.
Blair? Oh, I graduated HS.
Okay.
Pasadena. I'm already know what's up. So you in Pasadena. Pasadena, just for the record, a lot of amazing barbers come out of Pasadena.
Yeah.
So just by him touching down and starting his career there, I mean, you only gonna take it to the top coming from that area. So you in Pasadena. You 14 years old. You got those T outliners. I know you still working with them ulcers, or you dish those.
No. You know what? As a matter of fact, it wasn't T outliners. It was T edgers.
T edgers.
They were beige and kind of slim.
Oh, I know
T
what you're
outliners
talking
are the
about.
gray ones that everybody.
Yeah. You
They
had
modified
the
them and
brown, you had
whatnot.
the little brown ones.
The little brown ones. That was
Yeah.
T edgers. That's what
Yeah.
those was. But yeah, no, I had ditched those right before I moved back out, and just got addicted to a real professional. And by that time, I'm going to the barber shop and I'm asking, "What are you cutting with?"
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get those. I'm cutting in the garage, and first time I ever got paid for a cut was 1989. I think I got $5 for spelling the word jazzy in the back of somebody's head.
Oh, so you was doing designs and everything.
What's funny is I did a design before I did a real clean fade. So and what's ironic is I don't even care for doing that now. I'm not a big fan of design. I don't hate on them, but I mean they just take up so much time, and it just
Yeah, but when you're young, that's
you do what
especially
they
in
want.
the '80s. That's barbering was heavy with the designs and everything.
Absolutely, flat tops with all kind of they Slick Rick and all
Yeah,
that.
Big Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah. So I definitely had a heavy influence in barbering during this time. So when did you go from off the grid to on the grid and become licensed?
What was that? 92. I graduated in 92. Went off to school in Baltimore.
Okay.
Went to Morgan State, and ended up in a shop up there.
Oh, in Baltimore?
Yeah, Harry's Afro Hut.
Now, was it in the hood? Were you in the hood cutting?
Yeah, very.
Afro hood. That's hood.
Yeah, it was on the east side. All my Be More heads, y'all know, on York Road, and it was in the hood or whatever. But I learned a lot, and that's when I started taking it really, really seriously. And at the same time, it kind of paralleled the same time that I started taking being involved in the community. So at the same time, I'm kind of learning to kind of invest in into your surroundings and whatnot, and respect your trade and whatnot.
Now,
and your
how did you
contribution.
invest? How'd you?
Well, first off, fundamentally, just by doing your job proficiently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people underestimate what everyone's contribution is, just doing what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially barbering. We're in the service industry, and you got to serve people.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean just cutting their hair and getting them out the door. You serve them, and then and all the barbers, y'all know that we end up wearing like 50 different hats.
Yeah.
And you don't wear them at one time, at different times. You wear them all at the same time. You're a psychiatrist. You're this, you're that. You hear barbers talk about it all the time. It's very true.
Yeah.
And if you take it serious, that is a contribution right there. And then on top of that, you layer it, with, if you get involved with, any committees or anything like that, people in the community tend to reach out to people that they see that are active and whatnot.
Yeah.
So just lightweight stuff like that. But I was just beginning, and what I'm saying is I started taking barbering serious when I started taking serious my contribution to the community.
Okay, so just community got you where you're just like, I'm dealing with real people. I need to be for real with my craft.
Absolutely. That sums it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when did you leave Baltimore and come back to California?
96. I was up there for about 4 or 5 years. Late 96.
Now, when you came to 96, did you bring some of that Baltimore style to California?
No, not really. Well, yeah, cutting style, maybe my edge ups. I might have adapted a little bit more from out there and whatnot. There's talented barbers everywhere, and I didn't necessarily think that they were any better on this side versus that side or anything like that. But you know, I definitely, I brought back with me knowing the importance of barbering as opposed to just cutting. Because see, before then I was a kid, and so I'm just hustling.
Yeah.
You know, I'm cutting in the bathroom, I'm cutting in the garage. You know, I'm just collecting money. You know, it's kind
Yeah.
of like the kid in high school that sells the candy.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a cat that got candy that's selling out his backpack. You know, there's a guy that's cutting hair over there. I was the guy that was cutting hair over there. It was,
Yeah.
you know, it was just like I'm cutting hair. I'm taking long hair, cutting it short. I'm making it look fresh. Pay me.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, I brought back. You know, I was a little bit older, and then I took a little bit more serious.
That's what's up. So, when did you transition to becoming an owner of a barbershop?
When I moved back. Matter of fact, I came out, I visited, and you know, my mom's was like, you know, why don't you think about moving back? You know, we miss you and da 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, I miss y'all too. He's like, well, you know, there's a salon where I get my hair done, and she's got a whole space in the back. It's huge. You know, talk to her. And so I go over there to pick her up from getting her hair done one night. The Comfort Zone, Margot Grant. And went and talked to her. She was like, yeah, you can take this space and do whatever you want to with it. And so, you know, I was a part of it because we shared the name. She's like, you just can't change the name. But you can do whatever you want to. So I put up some chairs in there and, you know, put the floor down, took the mirrors, put them up, built a little station, you know. And so as soon as I came back, I automatically fell into ownership.
Wow. Now, how many stations did you have?
3. But I never had more than 2 barbers there at any given time, you know, because I was young and inexperienced and had only worked in the shop for maybe 3, 4 years.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I didn't even know what I'm doing. And you know, that's funny. A lot of people jump straight. You know, I talk to some of the younger barbers, and you know, like at these barber shows at these barber colleges and whatnot, and they're real ambitious, which is dope.
Yeah.
Which is dope. But all of them kind of sing the same song, like, man, I want to just graduate from here and then just give me a spot and then set up and da 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 da. And I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to discourage you at all, family, but what I am saying is, you want to go ahead and find yourself a little bit first. Find yourself within this trade first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's important about the Cut Game radio show is that if you're not able to maybe get a mentor during this time, this transitional time, coming out of barber school, you just want to open up a shop, you do need some game, you know. And that's what the Cut Game radio show is about. We got licensed professionals. We got owners of establishment, owners of brands coming here sharing that good game. So right now we're going to take a brief commercial break, and we're going to come back, and John going to really break down how he grew his brand to what it is today. Cut Game Radio Show.
This is Mike Brown from Shadow Edge Barber Tools, and you're tuned in to the Cut Game Radio Show.
Hey, so we back, Cut Game Radio Show, chilling with John Jefferson of the Brand Code label. So you said while you out in different trade shows, different schools, when you run into different students. So what type of knowledge are you sharing with the students?
Everything I can. I share what they ask, and I share stuff that I instinctively think they need to know. And I just share stuff that they probably don't even want to hear. So I'm in the ear. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So right now for the listeners and for the viewers, you know, share some of that game that you share with some of the kids at this trade shows and whatnot.
You know,
about ownership.
Specifically about ownership?
Well, you can go from ownership and
educate us.
Well, first thing is to be humble, you know what I mean, and take the craft serious. You know, take the trade serious, take the profession serious. You know, it's not a hustle, and I know this from experience, and a lot of cats I see in with it. You know, you don't have to dress a certain way, you don't have to act a certain way, you don't have to look a certain way, but you have to take on a certain amount of professionalism, and it's for a few reasons. It's because it helps you respect what you do better, which in turn helps you serve people better. You know what I mean? And you know, I see a lot of, and I'm not generation banging or anything like that. You know, I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
And I see this new generation, and the plus side of it is they're ambitious, they're hungry. There's a lot of them. It's gotten a lot of popularity, especially in the past decade.
Yeah.
Especially in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Really concentrated, and it's dope. It's really dope. But as a result, a lot of folks come in, a lot of youngsters come in and think that there's nothing established already. And, I think good natured, I don't think there's no malice behind it, but they want to contribute and they start just making stuff up.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, there's a reason why they don't do this and they do that, because this is the second oldest profession known to man. It's the oldest masculine profession on the planet. You know what I mean? We've been doing it forever.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is set in stone. So really you can spend, if we've been doing it for 30,000, 40,000 years, you could spend your entire lifetime learning it and perfecting what you do. And technically you're going to die without having learned everything you need to learn. That's if you streamlined and did exactly concentrated, heavily focused on being the perfect barber. No matter how talented you are, there's that much to learn. Much less when you bring in this and you bring in that. And
then times change.
Yeah.
Just
but even when the styles change and the hairstyles change and whatnot, there's certain things that's a mainstay that's always been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of it is your rapport with your client, and what exactly you are to them, what your role is to that group of people or that community that you're serving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to learn this from the gate, because if you know this coming in the door, then it'll make your career that much better going through.
Nah, definitely. So you own the shop, Cold Cuts Barbershop. Now, how did you transition from I know you when you came back to California, you kind of came in as an owner, but how did you transition from that point of your life to owning the Cold Cuts Barbershop today?
Well, I had to move. I forget what the issue was or whatnot, but I was renting a little spot over in the Arlington section or whatever town, and I said, you know what, I need to go ahead and open up shop. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to. Actually, when I first moved out here, and I didn't want to move past 14th Street. I don't know. That might be kind of specific for cats that don't know the Riverside area, but 14th Street kind of divides downtown from the rest of the town. I'm in my garage cutting. I want to open up. And I said, you know what, I don't want to go past 14th Street. Nothing's going on down there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to stay over here, and I'm looking at these big intersections, these major thoroughfares and whatnot. And I don't know, something just told me there's probably more opportunity down there. And I did not want to be down there. But I just happened to be down there dropping off, I believe, my sister at the bus station, something like that. And I saw a space. I called, there was two spaces. One was large, one was small. And I'm trying to do the least. So let me get that little small space. Used to be a candy shop. You know what I mean? Let me grab that space. And I called the owner, and she was like, well, I got a space this 2 doors down. It's big. I'm like, I don't want to do this,
Yeah.
And, I was reluctant with every turn is my point.
Yeah.
But when God got a plan, and I don't want to wax super religious, but, I got to speak on it.
Yeah.
When God got a plan for you, you kind of roll with it, man.
Yeah.
You got to have a little bit of faith,
Yeah,
And,
you got to be obedient.
Yeah. And come to find out, man, that candy shop was a front for, and ended up being the biggest drug bust in the history of Riverside County. Fed building is right across the street. Big burgundy building, brick building on University and Market. And I didn't know nothing about that. You know what I mean?
Man.
And guy came and worked for them on the 4th floor for years and was like, yeah, man, we watched y'all. This is years later. This is about 6 years later. We had moved to our current location. He was like, yeah,
so you
man.
took the bigger location.
I took the bigger location, and come to find out, as a result, it just was a smarter thing to do. It just was a smarter thing to do.
Now, how many chairs in that shop?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you was going to do the candy, what was you going to have? Two stations up in there?
It was small. Again, I wasn't thinking like a business owner.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, I was still kind of low key, like, you know what, I'm just getting my bread up and, if I cut this many heads an hour and, I can make this much a week and
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about, hey, you know what, let me open a business, let me provide jobs, opportunities. I'm not thinking about none of that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, let me just hustle, let me make my money. And again, it was that transition, or it was the latter part of that transition from being, quote unquote, the hustle side of it to the business side of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you got cold cuts rocking. What year is this when you open up the doors?
This is two. I got the space in 2000, late 2000. I opened up the doors officially early 2001.
Okay. So out the gate, did you have all your chairs filled?
Oh no, nah. They didn't know me from a can of paint. Not downtown, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
So I had I ran a speaker outside, and there was a bus terminal across the street, and I sit on top. I blast the music, and I sit on top of this speaker, and I had a handful of flyers, and people walking by, and you know what I mean? Oh, I ain't got no money. Man, come bring a little man in here.
Yeah.
And I just cut him up real quick and send him out the door. Broke as you know.
Yeah.
But just trying to establish that relationship.
Yeah.
You know, with the community and whatnot. It didn't take long, but eventually some old heads came in. Some cats was hating. Some old cats, how much you charge for barbershop? I've been here for 30 years, you know.
Yeah.
And
They came with that.
I heard you was doing
that hater baritone.
Yeah, I mean, real talk. You know, you better be charging this much. I better. What you talking about, bro? But
yeah,
you know, and then eventually barbers came in and was like, "Can I get a space?" I never went out looking for them at first. Now I'll put an ad in the paper or I'll put word out. Back then, again, for the 15th time, I'm still thinking about me.
Yeah.
I'm still not thinking about, you know, maturing into actually actively being a business owner.
So now that you got the business rocking, what made you want to come up with the Cold Label brand, just a product brand? How did that come about?
Well, I knew it was twofold. One was, you know, I wanted to do more. I wanted to brand it, and I wanted to get into merchandise. And so, you know, I'm slinging a whole bunch of T-shirts, and I put cold cuts across the chest, and I got different colors, and I got little IKEA shelves, and I'm putting it up, trying to make it real swaggy and whatnot, trying to attract and whatnot. Some of the clients are like, "Hey, man, this is dope, but at the end of the day, have you ever thought about starting something that really don't have nothing to do with it?" And I'm like, "Nah, everything I do has to do with this barbershop gig." Because by this time, I'm grown. I've been at it for, at this time, maybe about total 6-7 years. You know, this is my life. I'm loving this. Whatever I do has to do with this. But I knew that nobody really wanted to rock no gear. This was originally was about, you know, T-shirts and stuff like that, hats.
Yeah.
And nobody wanted to rock nothing that was necessarily a barber brand.
Yeah.
People do it now, but understand, this was 2002, 2003, 2004. This is before all this whole branding thing took place.
Yeah.
The net was around, but it was brand new. Cats was still doing dial-up, internet, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Everybody was
AOL.
setting up websites and selling this, that, and the
AOL.
third. It was AOL, you know, 256K.
It was penny saver. You had to use a penny saver, and
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, you know, I'm talking to the wifey, and she's just like, well, "Why don't you just, you know, give it a different name?" And I was just like, Cold Label, and then that was it.
Cold
That's the
Label.
short version.
So Cold Label started off as a clothing company at first.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say, because we didn't really see no success at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the main focus, is just doing more than cutting hair, branding, and making money, merchandising outside of it. Because I was selling a whole bunch of other people's stuff, and when I say other people's stuff, you know, I had Diane brushes and Annie brushes and fingernail clips, just anything male-centric, grooming. I had fingernail files. I had, you know, I would run downtown LA and get all that downtown slum, you know, wife beaters, boxers, just anything, watches, wallets, anything male-centric.
You was like that hustler barber, but you was the hustler shop
That's
barber.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, none of it had my name on it. None of it had the barbershop name on it. It was whatever, you
So
know.
you had like a bodega.
Low key. Low key, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's, you know.
So then after what, you just like, let me slap my name across some of these tank tops and
Absolutely.
some of these T-shirts.
Yep.
That Cold Label.
But no, it was Cold Cuts, and it was like, yeah, but no.
Yeah.
And so, you know, talking to wifey and whatnot, she was just like, you know what, come up with something else. I know you da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay. Thought about it. I was like, you know what, just Cold Label. We're going to keep it cold. Because the Cold Cuts came to me when I was in the garage, and I'm cutting this cold. You know, I'm still cutting and hustling. I was just like, Cold Cuts, you know. And then when I did the Cold Label, I said, I'm going to just stick with cold. That's it. There's
Yeah.
no method to, because I get that all the time, man. Where'd you come up with that name? Like, man, it was cold in the garage and I'm cutting. You know,
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable and I'm trying to hustle and I'm cold. You know?
So how'd you take it from coming up with that co-label brand to actually coming out with products?
So cats is getting a haircut and I'm sending them to the back to get shampooed. I got a little shampoo chick. Excuse me. And I'm getting them back and they're still greasy. I said, well, let me get some lemon fluff. Let me get the lemon fluff.
Yeah, that lemon fluff
We'll
legit.
cut right through it. Nah, some of the cats had Dax and Murray's and all of this, and it wasn't cutting through it. I said, man, well, let me get the lemon fluff and let me add some baking soda to it. You know, and she's back there scribbling, and her fingers are all wrinkled up and whatnot. And she's like, yo, you got to figure out something. Tell your people to quit. And so I said, you know what? What if, and at the time, it was like, you know, cats had started to move toward green a little bit. And I said, what if there was a pomade that was just all natural? You know, it took me 1.5 years to formulate it.
Wow.
At the time, I wasn't smart enough to actually go and holler at no botanists or whatnot, or any naturalistas, or, you know, the people that actually formulate that stuff. I'm doing it myself.
Yeah.
So it took 1.5 years trial and error. I remember going to like Michael's and getting these little small 1 ounce jars and, you know, making it, squeezing into a bag like I'm piping cake.
Yeah.
And shit, you know what I mean? And putting them all together and serving them. People was like, it's cool, but could you make it smell like this? Oh, can you? It's cool, but you know, it's making my hair like this. And I'm just researching, and I'm literally on the net, like what makes this happen and what they. So 1.5 years later, I came up with a formula. And what was ironic, I scrapped it. I scrapped it about 1 year, and then I was researching the papyrus papers. It's an old apothecary, like the first apothecary. It's a ancient Egypt. They had this big long list of all the natural remedies, everything from like upset stomach to enemas. You know what I mean? All that shit. I mean, real talk. You know, formula. They got all that, and I was like, you know what? Let me pattern it after the first known pomade ever. And I made some substitutions, like they have pine sap. I use rosemary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But by and large, most of it, and I don't know the ratios, but I say about a good 78, 79, maybe 80% of it is based on what we researched as being one of the oldest pomades. And a lot of folks don't know, and it just happened to pick up with the wave community first and launch the cats that are wave. A lot of people don't know there's a wave community. It's kind of like the bodybuilding community. They obsess over that shit. Like if there's a fork and if anyone is crooked, this, that, and the third. That was by chance. At first, it was just something that'll wash out easy.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't build up. Something that's not promoting the growth of candida on the scalp and effing people's scalp up.
Yeah.
And then the first people that jumped on it was the Facebook wave community, and then from there.
That's what's up. Well, right now we about to take a brief commercial break, and we're gonna come back, and he's gonna share with us how that biblical pomade just took off. You know, the Cut Game Radio Show.
This your boy Barbershop Matt from Exclusive Cuts, and you're now tuned in to the Cut Game Radio Show.
What's going on? We back from our commercial break. It's the Cut Game Radio Show. We back with John. He's still sharing that biblical recipe that he was creating to get what he has today, that we have laid today on the table. So John, what's up? So you got tree sap from the papyrus, sharing all that ancient knowledge.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't that heavy, but it kind of was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that kind of led me into research, and a lot of it was just internet.
Now, people that's not familiar with what you're speaking on, what exactly is that called that you got this information to?
Well, we call ourselves the Original Barbershop Culture Company.
Okay.
And people ask what that is, and I'm like, it's a tonsorial, it's a barber's apothecary.
Okay.
Because back in the day, early on, that's what we were doing. We were coming up with formulations and whatnot to kind of fix minor ailments and whatnot. A lot of people take barbering and they take it from maybe Europe forward, and they're missing out on about 4,000 or 5,000 years before that. And they were barbers, and their job was of course, to cut beards and cut hair and whatnot. But they were in charge of the standard of the sanitary, the grooming standard, health and wellness just in general. And
Just how you feeling good, looking good, smelling good.
absolutely. Because if you went to
Regular.
a village and everybody was living foul, they're looking at who's responsible for this. And they're like, well, there goes your... I don't know what they called them back then. They weren't barbers per se, but they were barbers. They were the guys that groomed them and, kind of mishmashed with medicine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we was joking on the break, they administered everything from enemas to healing people on, from scars from battle.
Yeah.
And everything in between. They were the same guys.
So would you say it's like a witch doctor or what?
Yeah, I mean you could say that too. I don't have a hard definition, but I know it was one and the same. It was the same. It was the same person that was people that were responsible for that. In ways they were medicine men, they were holy men, they were groomsmen. They didn't divide it up.
Yeah.
You had to get your tonsils taken out. You had a rotten tooth. You went to the barber. He pulled it out. You know what I mean?
Hey, a lot of times there's some people, especially in our community, they're not going to the doctor like they supposed to, so a lot of programs are connecting with barbershops where they're having barbers check the client's blood pressure, check their, different, how their sugar
Absolutely.
doing, all type of different stuff.
The health
because-
outreach, the big one, they cut funding for that. But I heard they're going to bring that back.
Yeah.
Where they check the blood pressure and the diabetes, they do the
Yeah.
blood sugar test and whatnot.
Yeah,
Heard they're going to bring it
because
back.
guys are, especially from our community, they're coming to the barbershop way more frequent than they are going to, the doctor. So this goes back way during, biblical times, and even beyond that, it's the same type of culture. They coming in there, they telling their barber about their ailments more than they would tell, well, back then they may have not existed, but, before they tell the doctor,
Right.
So yeah. So you finally perfected the recipe of what the first one was, the wave and scalp butter.
The wave and scalp butter. That was, can I?
Yeah. Nah, do your thing.
Oh, it's still unbroken. Cool. And it's kind of soft. It's the color of butter. It kind of, dissipates into an oil, I guess. But it's just like a butter. And so we just called it a butter just because it looked like a butter. It felt like a butter. And this was our first product.
So once you got that product developed, how did you share this product with your community and eventually being the global brand that it is today?
It got popular with, so the YouTubers, back to the wave community, they make wave videos.
Okay.
And they, give tutorials on how to do the waves and whatnot. And this one sister, Lakeisha Alexander, she had real tight waves and she had a decent following. And she was like, you know what? Send me a can. I want to review it. Found me on Facebook and did a review on YouTube. And this was July 2nd, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, it almost broke the site down. Because, we just spiked.
Damn.
On the stats, it just spiked. Because everybody saw the video and got on there and was like, yo, let me check out the site. She gave all the information and whatnot. And that was kind of the official launch. Although we had been around for almost a year before that, that was the first time we gained exposure. Just social media.
Man. Now, I know I heard David Banner say a powerful quote. He said, if we had us, we wouldn't need them. So she you sent her the product.
Mm-hmm.
She promoted it and popping just right then and there.
Yeah. And oh man, that ended up being a godsend. And it made me appreciate just that more so than I already did. That we are all we got.
Yeah.
The barber community, the grooming community, the wave community, whatever community that you identify with, we got to pay in and take out, pay in and take out.
Yeah.
You look at I just might be diverting a little bit. I'm gonna be real quick. But you look at Obama and the whole 8 years he was there, people was just like, well, why don't you do this and why don't you do that and why don't you do this and why don't you do that? And what did he always come back to? Man, when I was back in Chicago, it ended up it was about community activism. Start right where you're at. Start right in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Start right in your part of town, in your state, and da 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 da. And it kind of comes all the way back to that. So, and I was a proud member of the barbering community and a proud member of the waving community, so to speak. And I reached out to her. She reached out to me and helped us out a lot. And matter of fact, from then till now, not that we're super huge, but every milestone between then and now has been basically because of either barbers or waivers or somebody in the industry, just showing love. You know what I mean? Like you on the show and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was just about to piggyback on what you were saying earlier as far as that philosophy. We also believe that the Cut Game Radio Show, we figuring out that there's no platform to really celebrate the barbers, celebrate the legends within our industry. So instead of us asking around and demanding that, Tone and myself, we created it. And here it is right now, the Cut Game Radio Show. And that's what y'all tuned in and looking at on YouTube. And we got my man John right here. So this right here, this is basically part of that philosophy where you can start in your community, you can start at your home, you can start in a room at your crib and really have a platform to share knowledge, share wisdom, and share Cut Game. So, John, you got your wave butter. What made you create the Wolfing Pomade?
Waivers was like, man, we love the butter. It makes the hair soft. We need something with more hold. So I just threw some more wax in there. And it was like, nah, this ain't gonna cut it, bro.
They gonna let you slide on that one.
So we ended up going all the way back to the cutting board. Luckily, it only took about 2.5, 3 months.
Okay.
We finished it right around Christmas time. We started October-ish.
Okay.
And came up with it and perfected, sending out samples to different. By this time, we're not so much concentrating on my clients. I guinea pigged on them for 1.5 years.
Yeah.
So by this time, I'm sending it out to different waivers in different parts of the country and whatnot. And they're like, man, this is good. This is not good. Make it smell like this. Make it smell like that. So pretty much, it was kind of created by the feedback.
By their standards.
By their standards.
By the standards. Now I have to. Well, I want you to share with the listeners and share with our viewers the term woofing. They may not be familiar with the term woofing. Can you break down woofing for them?
Woofing is when you grow your hair out longer to perfect it. You grow, like say if you're waving, you're brushing your hair, you let it grow out longer and you can perfect your wave pattern. You create the depth that you want. You can create the connects, whatever pattern you want. And then when you cut it down, it's icy. You kind of have to do that. It's almost like, it's kind of like the bodybuilding where they bulk up, and then they cut down.
That's a good
Just
analogy. That's a good analogy. So a lot of times, if you guys are out there, you may know a person that's a waver. Always seeing wavy, and one day you just see him just with a tied down wave to the point where it looked kind of like a fro packed down.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's on purpose.
Yeah.
He's woofing up under there.
I'm woofing right now.
Yeah, it's nothing but waves up under there. So when that person feels like is ready, that's when they cut with the grain and have all the connections, the direction, everything going on. So woofing is very important if you're trying to develop your waves and improve your waves.
Mind you, I learned this from the wave community. I didn't know anything about woofing. And they told me. So that ended up being you look on the market now, there's probably like 7 or 8 woofing pomades crafted specifically for the woofing set. But that was the first.
Co-label was the first. Mm-hmm. Now, in your product line, you got a lot of firsts. Why don't you share with us the first that you have in your product line?
Oh man, Bully Beard and Shave Oil. We wasn't the first in North America. There was a company in Toronto called Shave Company or something like that. Uh-huh. That was the first one. But and they may have had some overseas, but Bully Beard and Shave Oil was definitely one of the first beard oils. And now there's a trillion beard oils. Yeah. It seems like the easiest to formulate, so everybody just kind of throws it together and throws it out. And that's not taking a knock on anybody's. But now it's very, very common, very popular, but we definitely spearheaded that. That might be it.
Now, when I went on your site, I see you got packages. Why don't you explain to the listeners, the viewers, the packages that you supply on your website?
That's kind of our attempt to go back to what we call as the original barbershop culture company. Barber in Chicago got at me one time. He was just like, bro, you're not the original nothing. It's been going on for a long time. And da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. I was like, well, we're not saying that we're the original anything. We're saying that we're a barber we're a company that is framed around barbering in its origin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what we were in its origin were all the things that's as dynamic as being a medicine man and a this and a that. Da, 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 da. So off top, we was like, man, we want to be able to, you know, help give them the products that they need, high quality, just obsessed with high quality, just like we're obsessed with the sharpness of the razor and the cut and the this, that, and the third. I wanted to give them the same passion for perfection as far as the products are concerned.
Yeah.
And so we put together packages that kind of were systems that you could use that are very simplified, like the mane. If you want to grow your hair out, you have light spots, or you might have, you know, iffy scalp or something like that.
Yeah.
We're not playing doctor, but as far as, you know, you not having any particular ailment, but not being completely satisfied with maybe your hair growth or something like that, we got something for that. There's oils that have properties. There's different extracts that have specific properties, and they've been used for millennia for this, that, and the third. And we're not making any claims. We're just putting it together, and then we're letting the people go out there. And I think that's been part of our success. Is people's like, yo, this shit works.
Yeah, because I know you say the wisdom of nature and the efficiency
of technology. Yeah, man, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's what you with the co-label. I sell the co-label at Groom City Barbershop, so you know I got to be familiar with the product before I can share that wisdom and that knowledge with my customers. You know, so I'm definitely gonna be thorough with what I carry. And the co-label is an amazing brand. Tell them about the 7 juices.
You got 7 juices.
That's the one.
Is a culmination of 7 of the most classically used for hair and scalp oils: jojoba, castor, on down the line. Everything is on the website. You can check them all out. And
give them the website.
Codelabel.co. It's escaping me exactly what's exactly in it, but it's only 7 oils.
Yeah.
And that's what we call the 7 juices and berries. And it's the top 7, and we put together a list of like 70 oils, and then we always took the top 7, came up with an average of the top 15, and then came up with an average with the 7 most commonly, and that's what we came up with. We put it together, and then that's
and
it.
my clients love. It's kind of like a little thinner than honey. My clients love the consistency. They love. I mean, it's an amazing product. So definitely, if you go to the website, get you a bottle of 7 juices, and it's priced right. It's priced right. The price is right.
Yeah, we cut out the middleman because we and we've had a guy from one of the big companies at one of the big shows was like, hey mate, he's from Australia. He was like, hey mate, you should charge more, and we was like, we I want to,
Yeah.
but I don't want to. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
if you got good margins, you're good. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
we're straight, and the rest will be greed, and so we end up cutting out the middleman. And that's the good thing about the internet; it allows you to do that.
Yeah.
That alone really changed the game.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. So, where do you want to take the company within the next 5 years?
I want to change the game, man, and I know that sounds very vague and generic and ambitious, but that's exactly what I want to do. And when I say change the game, I don't want to be, the only company or the biggest company, any of that kind of stuff. I just want to contribute to the renaissance of bar, because it's becoming more and more popular, but it's not like it's coming from nothing to something. It's returning back to,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, I want to kind of help usher.
Can you repeat that one more time? Because I like that. You said it's returning back.
Yeah, it's like a revival. It's like a renaissance. We're going back to the greatness that we were, and I want to contribute to that, not with just words and conversation, you know what I mean, or preaching on a soapbox or something like that. I kind of want to show and prove and be like, yo, this. If you see what we're doing and you like it and you respect it, understand the story behind it,
Yeah.
and then contribute from there to the younger barbers.
That's what's up. So we asked every hair professional on this show. There was a code of conduct for barbers. What would John Jefferson add to it?
Absolutely, be humble.
Be humble.
You see all the move makers and the contributors, the real contributors. Yourself. We can name them forever, and I don't want to start because I'm gonna forget somebody. But they're all approachable.
Yeah.
They're all humble. Most of the cast that's really doing it, You know, I look at them and I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you look at the young cats and they're like, you know what, it's barber and da-da-da-da. And, you know, I went here and I got my, you know, my barber license. They take their cap, they turn it to the back.
Yeah.
And they turn on some hip hop super loud and they sitting back like, yeah, I'm barbering. You know, I'm cool. You know, just dial the coolness down a little bit. Or temper it, rather.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With some substance. You know, understand this game. Understand what it really is about. Look at the old cats and don't, you know, not like, oh, you old barber, old timer in the back. Nah, bro, that's 30, that's 50, that's 40 years of, you know, examples and whatnot. Humble.
Yeah.
That's code of conduct. If I could add something, be humble.
Yeah, that's something that we definitely, I would say preach on the Cut Game Radio Show is the importance of homage. Got to pay homage and just respect. Just all around, just fully, just respect. Just have that respect for everybody, you know, and respect takes you a long way, you know.
Hey, man, I love what y'all are doing, bro.
Man.
I mean, on the strip.
Man.
I love this shit.
Thank
know
you,
what I mean?
man. Appreciation. You know, the Cut Game Radio Show, God is good, you know, and
all the time.
This platform right here is a blessed platform. It's a blessed platform, and I feel blessed to be able to host and facilitate and really grow this. You know, we're gonna continue to grow it, but amazing platform. Man, I want to thank you for stopping through the Cut Game Radio Show. Right now, I'm gonna give you the stage. If there's anything you would like to share, go ahead and share it.
Want to shout out Team Cold Cuts, Team Cold Label. Shout out my family. You know, I got me and my wife. We got 5 kids. And we would mix fragrances on saran wrap. Put a couple drops of this and rub it together, and we would vote on everything.
Wow.
Everything. How that smells. And we weighed what they thought just as much as the clients and the feedback we was getting via the internet. So my kids kind of grew up on Cold Label, you know.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's 13 now. When we started, she was, you know, 6.
Wow.
Something like that. So shout out my fam. Shout out all the barbers, the veteran barbers. Shout out the young barbers. You know what I mean? Don't take nothing of what I'm talking about, you know, as heavy criticism. We love y'all. Y'all are, you know, ambitious, and we need that. And y'all some real strong contributors and whatnot. Just, you know, take your notes and contribute to the game. And man, this is going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to serve you for years to come and the next generation after that. Shout out y'all for the show. That's it. And that's all.
Appreciate it. Well, man, today, the word of today is contribute and contributions. You know, those 2 words, you know. So I want to thank any and everybody out there that's been tuning in to the Cut Game Radio Show. You can DM us on any and all of our social medias at The Cut Game. You can email us at thecutgame@gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Cut Game Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and Google Play, The Cut Game Radio Show. Stay on your jet fuel, stay elevated, stay motivated. We out. Peace.